What's the deal, y'all? It's the boy Headquarters tapping back in with y'all with another one. Um, on this video, I'm gonna talk about how a lot of times you gotta take a step back or take a break from social media, um, or how it seems like a lot of people recently are taking steps back from social media. Um, you know, when you just kind of like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, a lot of that shit just be like noise, man. A lot of that shit just be, it's constant noise, it's constant drama, constant chaos, toxicity. Uh, the algorithm is kind of filled with that type of shit. It's hard to escape some of that shit. You feel me? But they say the algorithm is based on who you follow and what you like and shit like that. But even if you save a certain post or you save somebody post or you share it or whatever, it could be 1, 2, 3 posts, but it starts to feed you certain shit after you made that 1 or 2 moves. So, a lot of times, bro, when you get on social media, bro, it's just nonsense. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of toxicity. There's a lot of low character behavior. And if you consume too much of that shit, you know what I'm saying? That shit'll drain you. So you really should be taking a break. You really should be taking a step back from it, because if not, you'll wake up one day and you'll be just like, your brain fried. You know what I'm saying? Brain rot. It's when I used to have a problem with this back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Where I used to scroll and scroll and scroll, and now I know they call that doom scrolling. But when I put it in my mind that social media is essentially like TV, but it's like you tuning into everybody got their own station or everybody got their own channel, so that they broadcast they content on. So when I kind of place it in that parameter, it kind of helped me navigate it better. It helped me like realize what I was really consuming on here. Everybody got their own channel. Everybody got their own type of content they pushing. Everybody got their own station, their own network on this platform. So certain networks and certain platforms push certain type of content or certain type of ideals and ideologies and energies, and then other ones push this. So in that way you can curate your experiences. If you following content or following pages that's promoting and producing high level content, high level quality intellectual content, then your feed probably would be filled with better shit. But it is kind of hard to navigate and sift through a lot of the bullshit, because it'd be a lot of bullshit. It'd be a lot of the comedy skits be a lot of bullshit. The women on there, assed out, the back and forth, bickering about this topic, back and forth about this topic. So it can get, time consuming and draining. And, I really wish we can go back to like the 90s and shit when we had flip phones. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the tip I'm about to be on. It's like I'm going back to the flip phone, man. I'm going back to shutting down all this technology. You feel me? All this energy and shit that's coming off the phone, all this energy that's coming off the computer. If it ain't really beneficial, if it ain't no knowledge, you know what I'm saying, some of substance, then I'm not really fucking with it. So I found myself recently, during this journey I like to call refinement, or this stage that I'm in right now called refinement, where I'm just trying to refine my mental, refine my spiritual, refine my emotional, my physical, on every aspect, every level. I had to fall back from social media, like completely. You know what I'm saying? I shut down my Facebook, shut down my Instagram, shut down my Snapchat, shut down my TikTok, shut down my Twitter. I wasn't really using Twitter. Wasn't really using TikTok either. But I scroll sometimes. TikTok like a whole nother world compared to the other social media. They all really they own different planets and universe type shit. But TikTok, that's like a whole nother world. But I shut down all that shit, and I'm like, as time go on, when you don't really use that shit, you really like realize like you don't even need it. You know what I'm saying? Like the more weeks and days and shit go by without you using social media, you realize like it's useless. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it's useless, but you don't need it. You feel what I'm saying? Like you can live without it. And you start feeling better. You feel me? Your mind be clear, not so cluttered. Mind don't be so cluttered and convoluted. You can think better, you can make better decisions. You don't have, you're not second guessing decisions you making. You're not looking over on nobody else's piece of paper, seeing what they doing and trying to compare it to what you doing. Cause a lot of that goes on too on social media. People get to comparing themselves up with each other. And it's like, you don't know what this person been through. And you only seeing what they want you to see. You don't know how they got to this level or how they got to this perceived level that they trying to present to you. You don't know what type of pitfalls or if they had to do any type of underhanded, backhanded shit to get there. You don't know if that's really how they living like that. How they living for real. You don't know. So, and while you know what I'm saying, you so busy looking at somebody else's piece of paper, you're not focused on what you got going on. So, once you eliminate that, once you eradicate that, that stimulus, of course, that's going to make you, of course, you're going to be more focused, more level-headed. I think that's something that all of us need to do. Because I don't think it's really beneficial. If you run a business, if you're selling a product, promoting the service, selling a service, promoting a product, you got a business, shit like that, then okay, I can understand. I can understand being on social media, but and even then, it's like if you are selling a product or a service, the type of content that you do share, you don't have to share everything. You don't have to share everything about your daily life and what you ate and, oh, I'm over here now, I'm at the library now, I'm at the bank now, I'm at the grocery store now, I'm at the, I had to go take my dog to get cleaned, I had to go get a car wash, I went over here to this food place, like, like I'm not doing all that too, man. Like that's never been my style, so, hey, to each his own, if that's what you want to do, hey, just know it comes with, it's a catch-22. It comes with pros and cons doing that, but that's never really been my style, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of picked up on that earlier. I was on social media. I was on Facebook back when I was on MySpace. I was on different shit like that, Black Planet. I was on Facebook when you had to be in college to get on Facebook. So I understood I understand the transition and the advancements, quote unquote, of social media, but it's gotten out of hand. So at some point I saw it was getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? And I started to curate, or I started to curtail the type of shit that I was doing on social media, the type of content and type of shit I was posting. Because I go back and look at some of my shit from back in the day and I'm like, wow, like I was a wild boy on social media. Like I'll be on there saying all type of shit, you feel me? Doing all type of shit, posting all type of shit, you'd be on there getting into it with people on there, beefing with people on there, and you done pull it up on this person, and y'all done put up on each other, and all that type of shit was going on back then. So I've been through all of that. So at some point when I realized, I'm like, damn, bro, like this is social media. Like, this is for the world to see. Like everybody see this behavior. Like it ain't, you might be having a situation with a person based upon some shit on social media or based upon some shit that's going on in the street, but it led to social media. And now y'all speaking about it on social media and now the whole world seeing this shit. So, when I remember I got approached by somebody in the mall one day based upon my social media handle. And I remember that was the moment right then when I decided, I said, I'm really about to fall back from this social media shit, because it kind of scared me a little bit. Like, not scared me, but it just had me a little nervous and a little like anxious. Like, somebody walk up on me and pretty much scream out my or mention my social media handle to me, talking about, ain't you such and such? And I'm like, I don't even know this person from a can of paint. So I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? He like, no, that's you, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker know my whole little rundown and profile. So when that happened, I just I changed my whole behavior on social media. You feel what I'm saying? I stopped posting as much, stopped posting pictures, stopped posting where I be at, my thoughts. And that was in the 2000s. Well, I think that might have been like the 2010s when that was going on. You know, I fell back around then. So we talking about 15 some odd years ago. And I haven't been actively on social media like the next person, you know, since then. You know, I don't post my whereabouts. I don't post for validation. I don't care. But here's the thing though, a bit of game. If you understand people and you understand humans, what a lot of people on social media don't realize is when they get to posting all of that, posting their whereabouts, posting their thoughts, posting their songs, posting their outfits, posting their subtweets, they sneak disses. When they get to posting all these different things about themselves, there are people in the world out here that can look at that shit that you post and come up with a whole profile about you, like in their brain. Like they can analyze your page and understand everything about you. You feel me? They can analyze what you post on your page and understand your nuances, how you tick, what make you tick, your likes, your dislikes, your character. You feel me? Your vibe. They can analyze everything about you just off what you posting. So you pretty much giving somebody ammunition. You giving somebody the blueprint on who you is. And I'm not saying somebody's gonna be malicious with that information, but you know, they have these different type of people in the arm, you know, in the law enforcement. Law enforcement, they got people in law enforcement that's trained and that's, you know what I'm saying? They do that. They'll study your whole profile to get an idea of who you is. They can tell what you about to do next. They can, you know what I'm saying? That's how you understand what type of program a motherfucker on and what they capable of doing and what they gonna do next and who they, you know what I'm saying, who they mingle with, and you can put together a whole map, you know what I'm saying, based upon the information that y'all putting out there. So just be careful what y'all putting out there, man. Y'all really be leaving breadcrumbs and, you know what I'm saying, about the type of individual that you really are. So, you know, you might be claiming to be, you know, one type of way or one type of individual, but there's some people out here that can look through your whole profile, look through your pictures, analyze all that, and tell you really ain't none of that shit you're talking about. You feel me? You really, you know what I'm saying? You really a cream puff on the inside. You really this, you really that. Just based upon the shit that you entertain. Just based upon the shit that come out your mouth on social media. You get what I'm saying? Just when you can look at that shit and tell what type of person an individual is, man. You know what I'm saying? And there's people out here that could do that shit. That got the talent to be able to do that shit. So, you know, I would just, you know, tell people, you know, fall back from the social media. You know, take heed to what you posting on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pretty much giving you're giving out the blueprint on who you is. You know what I'm saying? And that could be either good or bad. You feel me? That could be either dangerous in the wrong hands. You feel what I'm saying? So, then y'all out here creating enemies and y'all out here doing shit to people behind the scenes, and you know, then this happened or that happened. So just be careful on that social media. You know what I'm saying? That's just a little gem, some, you know, little game for y'all. You know, fall back on that shit, man. Go read. You know what I'm saying? Meditate. You know what I'm saying? Read books and go learn some shit, man. I'm always trying to learn some shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to learn something, whether that's in the form of a book, you know, some notes, you know, YouTube, podcast, audio book. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to learn something, bro. It's so much knowledge out here. You can never stop. You know what I'm saying? You can never, you know, the pursuit of knowledge is endless. So, and that makes you a better person right there, you know, just being, you know, well-rounded with your knowledge. Of course, you got to apply the knowledge, but it's a lot of motherfuckers out here just zombies, man. You know what I'm saying? They zombies, man. They don't know shit about shit. You feel me? They don't know nothing. They only know what social media and the media and entertainment industry tell them to know. Don't be nobody like that, man. I never wanted to be nobody like that. You know, that's some shit I preach to my kid, where it's like, bro, don't be no follower, man. Don't be no game goofy ass nigga, man. Don't be nobody just, you know, go along, get along. Like, everybody going to the right, you go left off GP, man. Everybody, you know, being smart is being cool. You feel me? Being smart, you know, being intellectual, being, you know, high character. You feel what I'm saying? That's being cool, man. All that, I gotta be, you know, on social media and I gotta be this and being that. You really just showing how much of a dummy you is, how much of a follower you is, how much of a zombie you is. Like, your whole life, you know, revolve around that shit. You feel what I'm saying? If it don't apply, let it fly. But That's a real, you know what I'm saying, pandemic, or you know what I'm saying, real epidemic that's going on out here. You know, there's a lot of stupid motherfuckers out here, man, and they be having, you know, they be so-called lit. They be the lit motherfuckers. They be lit on social media and lit in, you know, society, but they really be some dumbasses. You know, they move dumb. They be low character. They be goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have no intellect. You feel me? Like, stupid shit. So, you know, and once you fall back from social media, you feel me? And you could kind of, for me, like when I fall back from social media, it gives me like a 3-dimensional, or it gives me like a overhead look of society. It's like, okay, nigga, I'm not doing what y'all doing, so I can kind of see how y'all coming and going. It's benefits to it, man. You know, it's benefits to not following, you know, not being no sheep. You know what I'm saying? It's benefits to that shit. You know, I know they say we wired as humans, we wired to be a part of society, or wired to be a part of a group. So sometimes it feel like when you do shit like that, when you go against what the norm or what the masses is doing, sometimes it feel like you kind of betraying yourself. But if you strong enough, you know, you'll get through that shit, man, because you'll see that the masses, 9 times out of 10, the masses is on some bullshit. You know, you know, the shit that the masses champion, it's all negative, low character. You know, it's all low vibrational. You know, malicious, conniving. It's all, you know, they just propagate and they promote a lot of bullshit, man. So yeah, first step to getting up off of that, or getting away from a lot of that shit, is falling back from the social media, falling back from what everybody else is doing. You know, fall back from that and go within. You know, don't so much focus on what's going on outside. You go focus on what's going on inside you, and build that up, you know, with different knowledge bases and whatnot. So yeah, man, y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all think, man. Signing out.